Hi there, welcome to the RevOps and Enablement YouTube channel. Today I wanted to cover reward and recognition, but not just some of the programs that you can put in place to reward and recognize your team. Also the science behind reward and recognition and why it's important to understand the science when you're putting these programs in place. Now, reward and recognition is crucial for your go-to-market teams. The science suggests that people feel more motivated when you value them and appreciate their contributions, and it helps them drive a continuing improvement in their performance. So here's some of the key concepts from a science perspective that you should be thinking about in terms of motivation for your go-to-market teams and the reward and recognition programs that you put in place. So the first one is around intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation refers to the internal desire to engage in a task or activity because you find it personally rewarding or enjoyable. Whereas extrinsic motivation is much more about the external rewards that someone can receive, such as money, recognition for engaging in that task or activity. So both can be effective, but research suggests that intrinsic motivation is more powerful on a long-term performance and engagement perspective. The next is the power of positive feedback, and this is something I'm really passionate about. So the power of positive feedback can activate the reward centers in the brain. It releases dopamine, and it ensures that people are feeling rewarded and feel that positive feedback and recognition that they're getting off the back of somebody providing feedback to them. And it's probably something we don't do enough as leaders in organizations, and that can be really powerful. Next is the social comparison theory. So social comparison theory suggests that people have a natural tendency to compare themselves to others. So when employees receive recognition and rewards, it can serve as a form of social proof, and it demonstrates feeling valued and appreciated. And this drives their ongoing performance. So there's just three elements from a science perspective to think about when we're looking at reward and recognition: intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, the power of positive feedback, and the social comparison theory. They're really critical elements when you're thinking about what reward and recognition you put in place for your teams. But what about the actual programs that you can instill and the strategies that you can put in place to help drive and increase that motivation for your go-to-market teams? So the first one, and perhaps the most obvious one, is bonus and commission schemes. So go-to-market teams are often motivated by financial rewards, such as bonuses and commissions. And if you can ensure that they're really clearly tied to their targets and the actual meeting and exceeding of those targets, that's going to ensure that you do have a successful scheme. You've got to make it as simple as possible as well. Sometimes I see schemes being made too complicated. That doesn't serve as a motivator for people because they just cannot understand how they're actually going to achieve the bonus or commission. Next is public recognition. Calling out in public and recognizing an individual's contributions. It's that social proof, again, that we spoke about earlier. And examples of public recognition can include acknowledging your top performers in your team meetings or at company-wide announcements, spotlighting team members in your company social media channels, or highlighting the top performers in your company newsletter. And those can serve as really great motivators for your team members. Next is performance-based awards. So performance-based awards could be a great way to recognize top performers and motivate them in terms of striving excellence. So these can be things such as your salesperson of the year, your customer success champion of the year, or other ones I love that I see organizations do is built around their values and people living and demonstrating their values on a consistent basis. Next, and this is one I don't think organizations do enough, is learning and development opportunities. Ensure that you provide learning and development opportunities for individuals. It can be a great motivator for them. And also by having access to the sort of training programs, conferences, it can be a way of demonstrating the investment that you're going to put into individuals for their growth and development. And more importantly, drive retention of those employees. And another one that I think more organizations are doing a lot around now is flexible work arrangements. So what things can you do around flexible work to support and motivate your colleagues on a daily basis? So examples of this can be people working remotely from home, the 4-day work week, regular days off in the organization where you're celebrating different parts of the organization. And these all can work well in terms of creating that work-life balance for people. and ensure that they're feeling recognized, and also create that motivation for them. So those are 5 key areas that you can think about. That's the bonus and commissions, public recognition, performance-based rewards, learning and development opportunities, and flexible work arrangements. There's many others. A simple thank you goes a hell of a long way with people when you're recognizing some things that they've done. And again, perhaps as leaders, we forget to do that as often as we should. I hope you found that really useful in terms of the different bonus and schemes that you can put in place, and also the science behind reward and recognition. If you like what you've seen, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can also get more hints, tips, and best practices on our LinkedIn page as well. Cheers.